Wow. Wow. Liverpool have just beaten Cardiff after a long time. It's been a really long time. And I found a beautiful poem from the Battle of the Trees, the book of Taliesin, number 8 from the 4 ancient books of Wales. And I want to welcome you, the listener, to Cop On Podcast with these words. I have been in a multitude of shapes before I assumed a consistent form. I have been a sword, narrow, variegated. I will believe when it is apparent. I have been a tear in the air. I have been the dullest of stars. I have been a word among letters. I have been a book in the origin. I have been the light of lanterns for a long year and a half. It feels like a year and a half since we had a Liverpool game to talk about. I'm delighted to be joined by Alan. Alan, how are you after that beautifully rousing second half?
Oh, brilliant, Nolan. That's a great result, great game. Just positive from the start, positive all week. Just the Diaz move, everything, Harvey back. Just one of those games I had no fear going into this game. I just don't know why, but I just felt it was a win coming today and a good win. And wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good. I mean, you mentioned Harvey. Let's start there. I mean, he's 18. He's just turning 19. And basically, you could say his foot fell off. His foot fell off about 5 months ago because he dislocated his ankle and his foot was twisted around the other way. Absolutely horrific. I don't know how someone comes back so quickly from that injury, but to come back so quickly and then pull off that goal. Talk to me about the goal, Alan.
Oh yeah, wow. The goal was just fantastic, and you could see it coming. You could just see when the ball was falling to him. You could just see it coming. I don't know if you've seen his goal for the under-23 game last week, his first game back. When the ball was dropping to him, I was just thinking, yeah, this is hitting the net. His comeback has been fantastic, and I think it's his attitude. Even when he got that injury, do you remember he got the injury, and a few hours later he had a picture up on his Instagram or something with giving his boots and jersey to the young guy in the hospital. His positive attitude from there on, I think, is what's kept him where he is. I don't know if you've seen it. I just seen his interview a few minutes ago as well on the game. We all know they're media trained, like players now, so he doesn't say anything out of the ordinary. But he's not hiding. He sees excitement. He's saying about how happy he is and how great it is to play in front of the fans. He's just magic. We are so lucky to have him. We have some brilliant players on our team. But since day one, when Harvey came in, when we bought him, there was rumours of how good he was. He just hasn't let down. He hasn't let us down. He's just, to me, he's a positive energy. And even when he came on today, even though we were winning and all, he just changed the game for me. The emphasis just went attack, just went confident. Trent, who was having a quiet game, I thought today, and not his best game, a few bad touches and stuff. Him and Elliot just lit up then, to just fed off each other. I don't know what more you can say about a kid. Like, he's still a kid. He is just fantastic. He's going to be a superstar.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got tons to say about him. I've got a million things. I don't know where to start. I mean, the actual goal itself. I mean, the body shape. To flick it up and turn. I mean, we've been watching football for a few years, haven't we, Alan? And the amount of times you see anybody trying to, any kind of attacking player, a striker, a winger, try and flick it up and volley it. Do the full 180, and they don't have. Maybe it's the right body shape. Basically, maybe they don't have the right body type to be able to do it. But the fact that he's quite a diminutive chap. He's able to spin so quickly and get, keep the perfect balance, the perfect equilibrium to be able to connect with the ball and then to have the focus, the absolute laser focus, a sniper-like focus to focus on that ball and absolutely rifle it in. Oh, my word. And as you said, you're absolutely right. The link up with Trent. Trent was a lot better in the second half. In the first half, he had, I think it was 7 attempted crosses, none on target. And it's just, oh man, it's so exciting going forward because you could see Elliot's, even when he's pressing, his energy, his enthusiasm to chase and close people down is absolutely superb. Adi D is in the comments, or Aid D, sorry if I mispronounce it. He says Elliot and Diaz changed the game, promising times ahead. Yeah, thanks for the comment. You can join us live on YouTube as we do our post-match reactions from here on in. This is, oh man, Alan, it's great. Luis Diaz, the guy that Aid just mentioned there. Because like many people, I hadn't seen him much for Porto. I wasn't that impressed when he played against us, to be honest. I thought we kept him pretty quiet. But then seeing him today for the first time, really, like a 30-minute, it's not a YouTube compilation. It's 30 minutes of him in action. And he looks like he's gonna absolutely help us, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I hadn't seen much of him either. And exactly like you, when he played against us, I didn't see much. But looking at the clips during the week since we signed him, and then today, he is electric. He is. Even when he came on, I kind of did. What did he used to call it in Sky? Player watch. I just watched him for a while. When he wasn't on the ball and stuff.
That's right.
And I was thinking, he was moving everywhere. He was looking for the ball, and the first thought that came to my mind was, he's only here a few days. He hasn't got trained into our system. It takes lots of players a while to get into our system, but he just looked like he was there forever. And again, he's winning that ball for the second goal. Like, the commentators didn't give him credit for it. The commentators were saying it was a mistake by the Cardiff player. But Diaz come in, wins the ball on the end line, crosses the ball. Jota misses it, and Taki, who had delighted to see him get a goal. But that was class. I actually took a note here. I wrote down he's a mix between Salah, Mane, and Suarez.
Yes.
He's a bit of them all. He has the pace and skill of Mo. He's the aggressive and able to hold on to the ball great, like Mane, and he has that real, touch a ball off a player's leg, win it, keep going, score goals of Suarez. So he's going to be an amazing player as well. If you picture him on the left, Mo on the right, and like we've a choice of centre forwards now to go along with him. Fantastic! Oh my God, I'm so excited about him, really. And thankfully, when he went down injured, it wasn't badly injured. I got
They talk about heart, people's hearts sinking when that happens. Mine was on the floor. It was absolutely. Yeah. But, thankfully he got up and started sprinting after and all that. But wonderful stuff. WhoScored.com gave the assist to Diogo Jota, which I think is very mean because that Luis Diaz little jink on the line and the cutback, he must have just brushed through Diogo Jota's legs before Taki swept it home. But I think in the second half it was really, really good. But we'll go through the game. We'll go through the game as it sort of happened. We'll go through my notes. The first thing to note, of course, was that it was damn windy. And then when you saw the lineup, I mean, obviously Quivin Kelleher in goal. Trent, Konate, Van Dijk and Tsimikas, Henderson, Keita and Jones, Takumi Minamino, Bobby Firmino and Diogo Jota. What did you think with the lineup? You were just confident right from the get-go, were you? And who were you looking forward to seeing?
Yes, as I said already, I was just confident. I had no fear for this game, no fear. I was happy. First of all, the starting team with Mo and Mane away, you'd look at that starting team and go, yeah, that's a brilliant team. But then when you looked at the substitute bench, I have it here, Adrian. Okay, I was a bit worried about him, but like the substitute bench: Thiago, Millie, Diaz, Robbo, Matip, Gordon, Harvey Elliott, and Morton. I think that's the strongest bench we've had in a long time. And you add into that Mo and Mane are away at the AFCON. Like I was so excited, and the two players I wanted to see was Harvey and Diaz. And wow, I don't know. I'm just I'm bubbling now. I'm just so excited, so happy.
Yeah,
It was
me
great
too.
playing.
Me too. It was great. It was great. So I mean, but in the first half, I mean, I've got notes going through the match, and we can go through them here. You can see all my notes. The first thing was a great tackle by Tsimikas in the first minute, and then Taki lost the ball in midfield, which led to the first shot from Cardiff after 4 minutes. And then there was some brilliant play. There was Keita to Jota, a great spin and a great shot. And a marvelous save by the keeper. I mean, at that point, you're thinking it's surely going to be Liverpool. Liverpool all the way, isn't it? I mean, at that moment, but you wouldn't think that was going to be the only shot in the first half. But that particular movement, Keita to Jota, what I liked about it was the fact that it was a through ball. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a lot of the time in the first half, like I said before, Trent's stats for crossing set in the first half was 7 attempts and none successful. I think on the other side, Tsimikas had 5 attempts and 1 successful at crosses. So I would prefer to have seen that, more us cutting through them with low crosses and great passes. And Keita, what did you think of Naby Keita today?
I thought Ampy was good today. I think the Twitter sphere was what people were giving out about him and stuff, but I think sometimes fans go with the easy target. Like he 2 missed shots that kind of went way over. I think lots of people were saying he was crap because of them, but his overall game, I thought he played very well. Like you said, that through ball, we did need more of that today. We needed to keep the ball lower on the ground, I think. But Tsimikas, I thought was a fantastic player today. I would put him down as our man of the match. For the full 80 minutes he was on the pitch, even in that first half, in particular when we weren't getting the goals, I thought he was fantastic with tackles. I didn't realise he'd 5 crosses and only 1 went as target, but I think some of them were just a bit unlucky too. But yeah, no, I thought Naby played well today. I didn't think he was any bad or anything.
Yeah, I mean, with Naby Keita, I mean, he had 1 cross. It wasn't successful. You could see the crosses there. And Tsimikas had 12 crosses, with 4 of them being successful by the end of the match. But Tsimikas also had 3 key passes, and Naby Keita had 1 key pass. Trent had 3 key passes, all in the second half. And yeah, I mean, but the stats for Naby were generally good. His passing accuracy at 90.2%. So he's keeping the ball really well. All of our midfield did. Jordan Henderson, 93.7%, and Curtis Jones, 91.7%. Our midfield, you would expect that against Cardiff, but it's not. I mean, it's easier said than done, I think, dominating a match like that. But our counter pressing was fantastic. We got the ball back, and then we played a lot of, simple and quick passes, 1-touch and 2-touch passes. I thought generally our performance was good. But I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now, because I'm just going to tell you in the first half. I mean, I thought there was some kind of tribute to Bill Shankly was going on the pitch, because the amount of time I wrote shanks the shot. They shanked the shot every single time. There was Keita twice. There was Curtis Jones twice. Everybody just shanking their shots. But the build-up play was good. So I don't know if you were like me, Alan, where you were just quite relaxed at halftime, thinking, well, we're playing well. The goals will come.
Yeah, exactly like you said there. There was a lot of shooting at probably the wrong time. but it was a good sign that we're, like you said, we were controlling the game. We had full control of the game. I think from every aspect, from defence up the midfield, most of the game. And I think I said it in our WhatsApp chat. I think we missed Matip today for running up the pitch. Sometimes because Henderson is a great player, but I think sometimes when we're in control of a game, the game passes them by, and sometimes you need that player just to run at them a bit more. But overall, I think, them shots, there was a lot of bad ones, all right. But like you said, we were getting them, we were making the opportunities, and we were spreading our game around. We were doing different things, which is something we didn't do maybe sometimes this year, where we kind of tried the one thing all the time. But it was quite positive. If one of them shots had went in, we'd have been delighted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one moment I particularly remember for the first half was a great run by Taki. It was good play between him and Bobby on the right hand side, and then he pulled the ball back, and Curtis Jones, that was one that he, again shanked way over, high and wide, and not very handsome. But Taki, he really grew into the game. I mean, he got his reward with his goal, but generally, when he was on the pitch, I thought he grew in confidence and stature. I mean, he ended up being replaced in the 68th minute, having completed 2 key passes. He got his goal, 85% passing accuracy with 33 passes. And I really liked what I saw from Taki today, because he was occasionally he gave the ball away. He wasn't perfect, but I really liked his industry and his creativity, and the way that he was trying to pick people out and not trying to not panicking. That was the thing with Taki's performance that I really liked. What did you think of him today?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I thought he did a very good game. And actually, just before our first goal, I was actually typing on our WhatsApp that I fancy Taki for a goal. Then the Jota scored, so I took that away from me. But yeah,
You've been drinking the right tea. You've been reading that in the tea leaves. Okay.
But I thought he had a very good game overall, and he, like you said, he linked up well with Bobby there a few times, and he linked up well with Jota a few times. Where he passed the ball back to interchange between them with the ball a few times. I thought he did a very good game. The right side was a little bit quiet in the first half as well. Like, so for a few minutes, you might think, oh, what's wrong with the right side? But I think that was just because, like we said, Trent was having, not his best 45 minutes there. But no, overall, I thought Taki was very good, and delighted that he scored the goal, because, like, I'm sure you know more about stats than I do, Owen, but he's a great record for scoring in the cups this season. When he gets a chance and gets enough minutes, he seems to come up with the goals.
It's 5 goals and 1 assist in 6 cup appearances, I believe, this season, which is extraordinary. Yeah. No, he's great. He's dangerous. And now where is he? Where is he down the pecking order? The 6th choice, perhaps. I mean, but I don't think anyone in world football's got our strength in depth. Okay, we can talk about City. We can talk about this later, but I think honestly, the amount of there was a wonderful expression. We can talk about it later. I heard on the Anfield rap from Carl Kopak, and he called them freak of nature players. And we've got a lot of freak of nature players in the best way possible. People who are just unnaturally good. But we can talk about that after our strength in depth and have a bigger outlook. I want to stick to the game, because there was Diogo Jota. I mean, the first goal was so important. It was in the 53rd minute, just before. I mean, the Liverpool crowd historically gets a bit antsy around the 60th minute, doesn't it? But this one, came in the 53rd minute. It was a beautiful header. And what I liked about it, what I noticed was when Trent was getting ready to cross the ball in, Virgil was making a big distraction, and he made a couple of little stuttering moves forward, and it just sort of distracted the defence enough, I think, to allow this brilliant ball from Trent to land on the guy that they'll never look at a free kick, Diogo Jota. But he's one of the best headers of the ball we've got, isn't he? It was a beautiful header, really, really beautiful. So you can talk about that goal, or you can talk about Diogo Jota, or Dio Goat, as he might be known. Talk to me about that, please.
Yeah, it was, just like I said already, like it's just one of those beautiful goals. Like I said, that's the beauty of having players. Like you said, we have players that are just fantastic. Like you said, Trent wasn't having the best game in the first half, and then he comes with a cross like that. Like it's just, he's a world class player. And the header, I think I said it before. I grew up looking at Robbie Fowler, and Robbie was a great header of the ball. So was John Aldridge. But Jota's header and reminds me of Robbie Fowler. You know, he's just one of those players. He can score with his left, he can score with his right, and he's a good header of the ball. Like when that ball was coming in, you could just say, yeah, you know, you could just feel this is going to be on target. But brilliant header, brilliant the way he took it. The pace and the cross, of course, makes it for any striker. But like you said, we've so many options now in the box. Like you said, the defenders are watching Van Dijk, they're watching other players, and then you've probably the smallest player on the pitch, apart from Taki, maybe, just comes up with these fantastic headers. Very lucky to have him. Very lucky to have crosses like that coming in with someone to finish them, because I think we suffered that a bit before. But overall, yeah, Jota's a funny one actually, isn't he? That chance you spoke about. Sorry to go back to begin the game, but the 4th or 5th minute where he swiveled and shot.
Yes,
he has a habit of going for the centre of the goal in some of them situations. But then he comes up with a header like that, and you just think, wow, he's an amazing player where he comes up with these headers, shots.
I think so. Yeah, I think I don't know if it comes from playing FIFA or because he's a world class FIFA player, but he sort of plays the percentages, doesn't he? When he's
Yeah.
When he's playing, you know, it doesn't bother him at all if he misses. He's just like, okay, well, I'll try and you know get the next one better.
The next
you know?
one, yeah.
And he's just like he's lethal. Like he doesn't. I've never seen him, have the jitters in the box and panic like you see pretty much many attacking players at least once. Like panic a bit and pull one or shank one. He just he doesn't always get them on target. He had 4 shots today, 2 on target. But he's just so dangerous. He's just there and he's got half a chance at goal and he'll get a shot off. He'll get a shot off because he knows one of them's going to go in the corner. And, maybe like today, 3 of them won't be goals, but one of them will be. And so he's just so dangerous. So he had 4 shots, 2 on target. He also had 3 key passes. But that's who scored being a bit generous because they counted the assist as his. Yeah. And they put Luis Diaz as not having the assist and not having the key pass, which is very mean of them. I've always been.
That's crazy. Yeah,
it is a bit crazy, but there you go. But yeah, also for Diogo Jota, 2 dribbles. The only other person in our team to have 2 dribbles, according to who scored, is Roberto Firmino. And we've talked about every other attacking player apart from Bobby, because Bobby, I thought quietly had, there was one big mistake that he made that led to their goal. But until then, he was having a magnificent game. And even after then, he played very well. He got the full game today. And I really like him because he had a 96% passing accuracy in the first half, which for an attacker is totally amazing because he's surrounded by 3 massive centre backs, and then when he pulls backwards, he's surrounded by 2 or 3 usually central midfielders. So he's just. I thought it was. I'd stop myself from saying masterclass, but this was a 9 out of 10 Bobby Firmino today. What would you give him out of 10?
Yeah, I'd agree with you. And he seemed to be a lot deeper today. And like you said, winning the ball, holding it up, passing it off, what you always get from Bobby. But even he had a great chance, and I think it was around the 55th minute. There was a great cross in from Henderson, I think. And he had a great header, something similar to Jota's, and put it just wide. But yeah, he's hold up play, his link play, he's he's just solid, isn't he? I think you could probably count on one hand how many times he's had an off game, but he was fantastic again today, and it's great to see him getting the 90 minutes because he's never out of a game, and I think you're never out of a game when you're Bobby, especially in the centre there. Other players can just play off him, and he attracts two defenders most of the time because they don't know what he's going to do. He's going to flick it left, flick it right. Will he turn them? Will he pass? They don't know what to do with him, and that helps, as we all know. That helps. That's helped Mane and Sadio over the years, and today it helped or Harvey and other players because he just takes players all the time with him. I would have loved to see him get that header because he deserves more goals than he gets. But I also heard an interesting interview with him a while back where they asked him about scoring goals and stuff, and he said a pass for a goal is as good as a goal. That's a player you want in your team. He gets
Absolutely.
he gets as much joy from setting up a goal as scoring a goal. Well, if he was honest, probably a little bit more to score, but it's great.
Well, maybe, but maybe not. I mean, he's such an unselfish player, isn't he? I mean,
absolutely.
I'd always remember that goal that Sadio Mane had a shot and it was squirming in, and Firmino could have knocked it in himself to make ssure, but he just let the ball run over the line to give Sadio the goal. I mean, I've never seen that before, especially in a number 9. Unbelievable.
And then he did something similar earlier on this year. I think it was Taki's birthday, and he rolled it across for him and he could have shot.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Perfect. Brilliant. So he ended up with 2 shots today, 1 on target. No key passes, but 2 dribbles, as I said before, but also 2 tackles, which was the most in the team, 2 tackles. And let's talk about the defenders who are supposed to be doing the tackling if you talk to Man United fans. But if you talk to Paolo Maldini, he says you don't need to make tackles if you're a good defender. And a guy who had absolutely 0 tackles and 0 interceptions, but who was absolutely magnificent today was Big Verge. I thought he was terrific because it's easy to overlook a defensive performance against Cardiff when you're so dominant with the ball. But the part of the reason why you're so dominant is you need some dominant players to come to the fore when necessary, and the few times when it is necessary. And Virgil was, I mean, he's the best in the world still for me. Would you? I imagine you would agree. I mean, I don't know.
Definitely, and even some of my friends that are Man United fans, Arsenal fans, all of them, they all just say he's the best in the world. That in itself says a lot. But like you said, it's not like who knows better than Maldini, like about defending. Some of the best games a defender has is when you don't see him. Any player can come in and do a few last-ditch tackles and get plaudits, but Van Dijk controls that line. He controls the play. He controls movement. And when he's in the right position, sometimes you don't appreciate him, or maybe some fans that don't. I don't want to say don't know about football, but don't understand all the game. Just maybe see the highlights and the goals. Especially as an ex-goalkeeper myself, when you had a player like that in front of you, you had an easy game 99 times out of 100, and he gives you confidence. And that's the main thing of a defender, is that people know they can trust him. The midfielder know they can trust him. The defense know they can trust him. The keeper know they can trust him. It just calms everybody down. Like, just go back before we had him. How many games did we be winning, and in the last 2 minutes you just knew we were going to let a goal in? We're not like that anymore. That's a lot of that's down to Verge. And then again, you look at the confidence of the goalie today. That's down to Verge. I thought he had a great game today. He was lucky with the yellow card, probably. But,
I was going to ask you about that. You think he was lucky? I think it was a very good decision because I think, yes, his foot was up a bit, And it could have been it wasn't whether, I mean, Konate had the ball, so there was no red card in terms of denying goal scoring opportunity, but was his foot a bit further too up? And I thought it was actually a good decision. I've seen them given as reds, but because it was like he just basically grazed him, it wasn't a full-on contact. I don't know. I could have seen maybe a red, but it would have been a soft red, if you know what I mean. I thought yellow was the right decision. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you think?
no, I thought it was a great decision. We often we often have to give out with refs and VAR because sometimes they're looking for the excuse to send you off instead of the real reason. But no, I agree with you. He came out. It was clear he went for the ball. His foot just went over the ball. It was just a little bit off timing, and the yellow card was perfect. It was the right decision. Of course, if you're a Cardiff fan, you might think different, but if that was the Cardiff player or keeper, I would have been happy with him getting a yellow for that. He just came out, went for the ball, and just slightly mistimed it. There was no malice, no nothing in it. And like you said, Kanata was there, and it wasn't a clear opportunity. But at the same time, when it happens, you're quite happy to. You were thinking, crap, But no, fair play. The refs had to get credit today for everything. Actually, even the Cardiff had a bit of a call for a penalty against Kanata, but it wasn't. The player stood across
that was
him.
a great decision as well.
Yeah,
we have to applaud them when they're good.
Yes,
and the ref
exactly.
Was definitely really good today.
And again, the Cardiff player there was looking for it, where he should have. He had the ball. He was past the defender. Why didn't he keep going? Again, the same. Then we had I think Simmercast put a great cross in, and one of their players hit his hand, or more the shoulder type of thing. But again, that was the right decision. There was no penalty. It was the refs, the VAR deserve credit when they get it right, and they got it right today.
Yeah, there was one thing though. There was one little thing in the first half. Well, little thing. I thought the Cardiff player was very naughty, and I thought it was a yellow card at least when he swung his arm back and made contact with Virgil's face. Because I think that was a very naughty thing to do. He wasn't getting leverage. It wasn't one of those because he didn't even jump. He just swung his arm back, face height, having already looked around. I don't know. I thought that was at least a yellow, but that's just we got one minor thing to talk about and many major things that they got right.
But, I missed that one. I didn't see that. I must have been doing a toilet run.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, that was in the. I don't know what minute it was. I wrote it down. That was in. I think it was the 7th minute.
Right.
The 7th minute. Collins, it was his name.
Collins,
with a swinging arm. So there you go. If you go back, to the highlights and look at it in the 7th minute, you can. And next time, go to the toilet before the match.
Yes.
Okay. But one more player I'd like to talk about before we zoom out and talk about more general Liverpool stuff from today is Konate, because I really liked his performance. For me, he was the man of the match because there were moments where Cardiff, they tried to make it into a bit of a scrap. And you see different defenders react in different ways to that. Lovren being one that we had who didn't react particularly well to that. Always making bad decisions. But sometimes he was really good. But most of the time, I don't know. I was never really confident. Whereas, Joel Matip, for example, sort of rises above the scrap, doesn't he? He sort of rises above it all, and he's majestic, and he sort of majestically dribbles away, does this Maradona style dribble around everyone who tries to make it a scrap. But Konate gets down and dirty. When it's mud wrestling, he's tops off and he's jumping in the mud wrestling ring. And he really goes for it, and he always comes out on top. And I thought he was terrific today. What did you make of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was one of his best games. He's really come into that role. Like we said already, he's learned the role. The Liverpool way. You have to learn the system. He was fantastic today. Again, I couldn't agree with you more. He he's the wrong man to try and go into a scrap with. He's a beast. He's a strong, honest player. He had a fantastic game today, and yeah, you're right. He's up there for man of the match. I think I might have criticised him a little bit earlier on the season. Not criticised him, but he gave me the jitters a little bit in a few early games. But then he was just learning our system, learning. He got cut out of position a few times, but he's just learned from it. That's the sign of a good player. Give him a few games. He's learned from it. And again, he's a player with attitude. He's that type of player Liverpool want. He wants to play for us. He wants to play the game. He doesn't get sucked into battles, or he does his job. And I think we're going to get more and more out of him. Like, again, people forget he's young. For a centre back, he's young, and he's going to get better and better. I think if Matip wasn't playing so well this season and touch wood staying injury free, he would be in the team every week. To me, he's the third choice now. Until someone plays bad or gets injured, he is third choice. He's going ahead of Gomez, and he's going to be a great player. Another 10 years.
Yeah, Matip's still ahead of him then in your view.
Yes, Matip will be my number 2 definitely. Even we missed Matip today, even for putting the ball forward. Like them players you mentioned with 2 or 3 dribbles, Matip would have been ahead of them.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean 10 a match.
Yeah,
but go on.
But like you said, Matip doesn't get involved in any rows or angry. He's just that type of person. He just does his job, and I like that in a player. Virgil doesn't get involved in any rows or anything. We play fair, we play tough. I think Virgil and Matip are a perfect pair. I just love the two of them playing together. As long as Joel stays fit, I think he's number 2.
I don't know. See, I quite like Ibu because, positionally he's not as developed as Matip, and there are various parts of his game that are not as developed. But I like the mix of Konate's lightning pace and his, have you seen that moment in the film Train Spotting? I don't know if you've seen it, when you've got this sort of psychopath, Begbie, his name is, and as soon as he gets a moment to, a slight sniff of having the opportunity to have a fight with someone, he's like, yes, and he's celebrating before punching someone. That reminds me of Ibu Konate and his attitude to defending. It's like, yes, I get to do the real dirty stuff now, and I get to physically dominate my opponent. Like, he loves that. It looks like from the outside. But I don't know. See, I don't know. We're going to have to talk about this because this is in the games coming up. Let's have a look, because we've got really intriguing games coming up. We have the first one. Well, I'd like to look at these in groups. I don't know if you can see this on your screen or if it's too small. But the first one we got is Leicester City. Can you see that, Alan? Or should I zoom in a bit?
No, on YouTube, I'm not putting my glasses on, thanks.
Oh, that's okay. No, all right. Well, I'll try and explain it. And there are people listening to the audio version, so that's all right. I'm going to explain this anyway. On the screen, we just got Liverpool's next fixtures coming up, right? There's Leicester City at home, Burnley away, and Inter Milan at home. And I'm grouping them all together because they're our next 3 matches, but they're only 6 days apart, from Thursday to Sunday to Wednesday. So when I'm playing Football Manager, I play my best team in the midweek game against Leicester, and then a sort of, half good team, half of your best team against Burnley, and then your best team again in the Champions League, just to try and be sure to have your best team fit and firing for the Champions League. But what would you do? I mean, against Leicester, would you follow that kind of plan where you sort of might rest a couple for Burnley and go full strength against Leicester and Inter?
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan of a winning team doesn't change too much. I know we have to rest players now and again, but again, going back to our substitute bench today, what is our weaker team? We are in a fantastic. This is my
next question.
Yeah, well, we're in a fantastic position. We're like touch wood, Thiago's back from injury and keeps that way, hopefully. Naby's playing well. Taki's playing well. Like, we can change one or two players in our system without weakening it. Simicast, to me, is fighting for a place every week. And not only to replace Robbo, because Robbo's playing great again, but like we seen with Nico Williams before he left. He was getting chances up as left forward. Like, I can see Simicast when needed coming in to play left forward. You know,
Wow.
we have some players there that are fighting for places, even not in their own place, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
what is a weakened team? Like,
Well, I mean, but surely then, if that's the case, then we can rotate a lot. We don't have to
yes,
stick with the same team until they're out. So who would you change for Leicester? I mean, today's lineup is on the screen. We had Kelleher, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, and Tsimikas. Who would you change from the back five? Obviously, Allison back in goal, obviously against Leicester for the Premier League. But the back four, who would you go for?
yeah, I agree with you. Ali comes back in, and that's no slight on Keeving, because wow, what a second keeper he is. I think Robbo's going to go back in for Simicast. Probably Matip, after being rested today, might come in, but then, like you said, Kanate has done a brilliant game. So if it's rotating, Matip might come back in there.
No, but what and instead of what Klopp would do, what would you do? You would pick Matip for Leicester and maybe Konate against Burnley, and then Matip again for Inter, or
Well, again, if I'm to stick by what I would do, I would play the same team again virtually, because I don't like changing a winning team.
okay, so you would keep the same back four.
I would keep the same back four. That's what I would do, and then you have,
Okay.
say, like, you have Andy and you have Matip chapping at the bit, waiting to get back in.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah,
I would go for Robertson to be full strength, but then give Tsimikas the Burnley match and Robertson into Milan, and they can fight it out now, because I think they're really pushing each other, and this
yeah.
is great for the
But
team.
that's what I agree with. I agree with fighting it out. I think if Simicast plays a great game and doesn't do anything wrong, plays a fantastic game, it has to be a fight. You know, Robbo's the best left back in the world, probably, and Simicast is pushing him. So, but yeah, I think you're right. I think Robson will come in for that one, but Simicast should definitely start against Burnley, because he deserves to start. He deserves to keep pushing, and it gives Andy a rest.
Yeah.
We're not losing
Okay.
anything. You know, we're losing Robbo's. Robbo's more direct and getting the ball and running at them, but Simicast's better crosser the ball. So we're not losing anything in either player. And if you have Andy Robertson on the bench, like, you can always bring him on. What a player!
Totally. I thought Tsimikas was a little bit unlucky today to be subbed, but no, it was. I think Klopp just wants to give Robbo a bit of time, maybe
Absolutely, yeah.
get some freshness back in his legs. But yeah, I would definitely play Virgil, because I wouldn't really drop Virgil, because he still sort of canters round. I would play him in every match, because I think he can. I don't think he ever particularly breaks a sweat or anything. I think he can. Konate against Leicester City, against the pace of that Leicester have, I would play him against Leicester. Bring Matip back against Burnley, and then for the Champions League, I don't know what I do. I just see who plays better out of Konate and Matip in the next week, and then Trent at right back. I mean, can Trent play every game now? I don't know. I would have played Bradley today, but I'm glad, obviously, because of the first assist. I'm glad Klopp went with Trent, but it's curious, because surely, I mean, I don't know, you can't just keep playing Trent. I know you don't like changing a winning team, but are you just going to play them until they get injured? Because an injury would be an inevitability, surely.
Yeah, no, obviously injury comes into it, and tiredness. Like, you're right. With Nico gone now as well, and I know Bradley is a fantastic prospect. So I probably agree with you. I thought Bradley would start today. Might be a missed opportunity to give him more time, but in Klopp we trust. But yeah, it's like against Leicester, we have to win these games too. We're fighting for the Premier League, so it's hard to drop Trent.
It's hard to drop Trent, and then
Yeah.
we've got Leicester City coming up, and then Burnley, then Inter Milan, and then there's a 3-week, not break, but there are 3 weeks between the first and second legs of the Champions League, and between Inter Milan in the first leg on the 16th of February and Inter Milan in the second leg, which is on the 8th of March, Liverpool play in the Premier League against Norwich, against Leeds. They play the League Cup final, or we play the League Cup final against Chelsea, and we play against West Ham just 3 days before Inter Milan. So, I mean, Trent can't play all of those, you would think. So, I mean, would you sort of bring in Bradley maybe against Norwich, against Leeds, against, I don't know, they're the two lowest, and against Burnley. I mean, they're the 3 lowest placed teams that we're going to face in the next few games. I don't know. Would you do something like that?
Yeah, I think definitely bring him in against Norwich. Anyway, Burnley, I'm not too sure. Burnley are a seasoned team, but yeah, like Bradley has done nothing wrong when he's played. He's the management team, coaching staff obviously have confidence in him for when he's needed. So yeah, definitely be giving him a game against Norwich, for definite. And but like yeah, you don't want Trent to get injured. So, but all I can say is like the management team have faith in Bradley, so I have faith in him.
Yeah,
So,
true. And Milner can cover there as well, of course, who we haven't mentioned.
of course,
But
yeah.
then going into the midfield, I mean, would you, against Leicester, would you change anything? Today we had Henderson in the holding role with Keita and Jones either side. Would you change anything? Bring Fabinho back, probably?
I would play Fabinho in every single game if I could. I don't think that sitting number 6 suits Henderson at all. Especially like a game like today, or against maybe, without being rude, a lesser team. When we've controlled the game going forward, I don't think it's Henderson's game. I think Henderson is a player when you're up against a equal or better team that there's a battle in midfield. That's Henderson's forte for me. So I would bring Fabinho in there. Jones didn't have a fantastic game today, but he didn't do a whole lot wrong either. But I think Harvey's going to be hard to drop. Harvey's going to be coming in there. I think maybe in midfield, I would start Harvey.
So hang on. So you're going Fabinho and Harvey and who? And Thiago?
No. Well, no, I don't think Thiago will start because he's come back from injury. But I would probably. I don't think Jones did it. I think Jones or Naby. It's between them, but Naby, I'd go with Naby.
Okay.
Fabinho and Harvey.
Naby, Fabinho, and Harvey. I mean, it's very exciting, isn't it? I don't know. See, I kind of like Harvey a little bit further forward. I don't know if he's defensively ready enough. But then do you need to defend that much against Leicester? You may as well just attack. So yeah, I'd go Fabinho. I like it actually. Yeah, I think I might agree. Yeah, I think I agree. Though it's tough to drop Curtis because I thought Curtis was very good as well today. But according to Google, against Leicester, we've got a 76% chance of winning. The win probability, Liverpool, 76%. There's a 14% chance of a draw and just a 10% chance of a Leicester victory. Last time, we would have said the same thing, and we ended up losing 1-0. But this time it feels different. I mean, up front, what would you do up front? And it's your choice. I mean, Mo's going to be back, and they're going to be back, but whether they're going to be ready or not after the AFCON, I don't know. Are you playing what? Diaz, Jota, Firmino, Mane, Salah, Taki, or Divock up front? What are you doing?
Now, this is where we are so lucky. that's some choice of players, isn't it? Like
Crazy.
4 weeks ago, you would have said the second Mane and Mo get off the plane, they're in the team. Where now we actually can sit back and think, hold on, we don't need to rush them. But knowing Mo Salah, if Mo Salah's back and fit, he will want to start, and I think Klopp will start him. Because that's the way he is. Sadio's the same.
But would you do it again? Just you.
I-
So you would do the same thing. Bring Salah back in.
I would bring Salah straight back in. I think he's the world's best player. If you have him, you play him. Unless he's exhausted or tired, but that's where we trust our medical team. You know,
two Egypt games have gone to extra time,
Yes,
penalties, and if tonight's final, as we recorded this, we haven't played the AFCON final yet. I mean, if it goes into extra time as well, then yeah, I mean, as you say, you've got to trust the medical team. But if he's fit, he plays. Okay, so Salah's on the right. Let's assume he's fit because he's practically a machine. He's an incredible player, so fit. So okay, Salah's on the right. Who else are you playing?
I think I play Bobby and Jota. Bobby through the middle, Jota on the left, and Diaz then to come on in the second half. Because, like you say, he's a great start today, and he's still learning our system. Like if you have him,
no Sadio. No, definitely no Sadio. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I love Sadio, but I think of both players, of Sadio and Salah, I think Salah's the one that would be fitter and come in. I think Sadio could possibly need a rest, but again, you have him on the bench. I think it's going to be interesting the rest of the season now on between Sadio and Diaz. You know, it's I love Sadio to bits, but like Diaz has the pace that Sadio used to have. So that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and Jota as well. And Jota.
And
Remember,
Jota,
it's not Jota, it's Jota.
Jota,
okay?
sorry.
He's Portuguese. Cannot allow this.
You told me that before, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, it's okay. There'll be a test on Monday. Yes, the Slavic J becomes a Y sound, like Dejan Lovren. But yes, there you go. Anyway, okay. But look at Leicester's form, right? Leicester's form. They have won 2, lost 2, and drawn 1 in the last 5 games. Very much mid-table form, and they're very much mid-table team. They're 10th at the moment, albeit with 2 games in hand on Brighton, and they're 4 points behind Brighton. Leicester have 26 points from 20 matches. The pressure's on Brendan Rodgers a little bit. I mean, would you possibly consider sacking him if you were the Leicester City board, because he seems to be underachieving this year? Or would you just think, well, he won the FA Cup last year and we'll give him the benefit of the doubt?
Well, if you're Leicester City and he's won you the cup, he probably has a bit of credit in the bank, I think, to be fair. Personally, I've never rated him. Yes, and he came into us at the beginning. He was a young, exciting manager, and I liked his style of football. But after a year or two, I kind of noticed I didn't take to him. I was one of the Rodgers out, I would say. I think he's a level. I think he reaches a level with players, and then I think that's it. It's very easy for people to say like, I'm a Celtic fan. He went up to Scotland and he won a few titles for us. But Scottish football is the way it is. Like, one team, Celtic come in and win for a few years, then Rangers get good and they win for a few years. So it's very hard to give him credit. No, I'm not sold. I wouldn't be a top 6, 7 team in England. I wouldn't be having Rodgers as a manager, to be honest. But,
okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree, yeah. Okay, but I mean, for Leicester, I mean, I don't know. I think their fans are getting a bit tired because they've, if you compare to the teams in and around them, Brighton have conceded 23 goals. Wolves have conceded an amazing 16 goals only. Tottenham have conceded 24. Aston Villa, one place below Leicester, have conceded 32, and Leicester have conceded 37 goals in
Wow.
20 matches. It's almost 2 a match. And that's the thing. I mean, going forward, they've been great. They've scored 34 goals, which is, 11 more than Brighton. It's 15 more than Wolves, and it's 6 more than Villa. But it's just gung-ho stuff. And you would think against Liverpool, we'd be able to just pick them off if they just leave all that space in the back and keep making mistakes. And I think, it really could be. I mean, just, because we got to wrap it up, unfortunately. But I think it could be, a cricket score for both teams. I mean, I was on Doug's show on Friday night and I predicted 6-3. And I'm standing by that prediction, 6-3 to Liverpool against Leicester City. What are you going for, Alan?
Well, yeah, 6-3. That's a big score.
Yes, it's not very sensible. I mean, I've had a few too many cups of tea today, but yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, like you said, they can go forward and they can score a few goals. But no, I think we'll win that. Maybe I could see a 3-1 or something. I think the last game that did better than 2. We played them. Was it a few days before in the cup, and we bet them, and they were hurting from it, and they came back and bet us. No, I'm quite confident against them. I think we'll beat them maybe 3-1, something like that.
Well, okay.
If we score 6, I'd be delighted.
I mean, I think we could. Harvey's back. Diaz has got a goal or 2 in him. Salah will be back. Bobby Firmino looks he's on fire. Diogo Jota.
Yeah.
I mean, the new Ian Rush, unbelievable player. So we got I don't know, we got it all to look forward to. But Alan, it's been so nice talking to you and just hearing how buzzing you are. I'm absolutely buzzing after that beautiful victory, beautiful second half performance as well, and the quadruple's still on. Thank you so much, Alan.
Thanks, Owen. Thanks very much. Bye, everybody.
Thanks very much. Bye bye.